Another day, another embarrassing move by the New York Jets. In this video, I am going to just rage and vent about how bad and how disappointing the New York Jets have been for forever, it seems like now. If you guys like these videos, kind of like these rants, just talking about a team, not necessarily breaking down a specific game, let me know by pressing the like button. Comment, what have you thought about the Jets so far? Not only this season, but just their history. Because what the frustration is a thing that has been building up. Because year after year, we are saying, kind of similar things about the Jets. But the main similarity is the continued frustration. And if you want more videos from me in the future and you want to see them, make sure to hit subscribe. So, New York Jets decide to release Le'Veon Bell after, the two sides, the thing about the Le'Veon signing was apparently Adam Gase never wanted him to begin with. That was an agreement that didn't happen between ex-GM Mike Maccagnan and Adam Gase. So that you knew that was already a big red flag, that Le'Veon Bell did not necessarily feel wanted by the head coach. And that's a big deal, especially nowadays where players have a lot of power and player-coach relationships are extremely important in modern-day sports. So once you had that happen, you knew things were going to be kind of interesting. The fact that the Jets have been so bad, especially offensively, Adam Gase's calling card, they have not been able to get anything done, whether it's running the ball, whether it's passing the ball, or scoring points. They have failed in all aspects of offense. So Le'Veon Bell felt like he was not being utilized correctly, which is true. Le'Veon Bell thinks he does best is catching the ball, whether it's out of the backfield or line up as a receiver. The Jets did not do enough of that. The Jets don't have a good enough offensive line or scheme to really create running lanes for running backs, whether it is Le'Veon Bell or anybody else. So you can understand his frustration there. But similar to Jamal Adams, just the losing culture, constant losing, it really just makes a star player not want to be there anymore. So the Jets had to part ways with Le'Veon Bell. And it just seems that the Jets are continuously getting worse and worse and worse. And that's a big problem because of Sam Darnold. You know what? When the Jets drafted Sam Darnold in this quarterback draft class, they had a bunch of good quarterbacks, so we thought. Guys like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold and Josh Allen and Josh Rosen. There were a lot of quarterbacks talked about in that particular draft. And when the Jets got Sam Darnold, it looked like he was the guy. Like, the Jets have been waiting pretty much ever since Joe Namath left in 1969 to finally get that big-time franchise quarterback. They draft Sam Darnold, and you know what? It looked like things were finally headed in the right direction. Jets have a quarterback now. They have a pretty good defense. Now it's just a matter of building around that. And the Jets failed to do that because after they have drafted Sam Darnold, they have just been miserable. Darnold has had his injuries, yes. He's had his inconsistencies, but the problem is that not only has Sam Darnold had inconsistencies in his performances, but now there is a major problem where Sam Darnold is having inconsistencies around him, whether it's changing personnel or changing coaching. Because you know what? Sam Darnold's had to learn multiple offenses. And let's just say that if the Jets were to give Sam Darnold one more year next, let's say the Jets actually don't win a game and don't draft Trevor Lawrence. What if they take an offensive lineman or a receiver or somebody that helps Sam Darnold, right? Or maybe even trade back the pick and try to get some other things. Let's just say the Jets were to gave Sam Darnold another year. There's no way Adam Gase stays. If Adam Gase stays next year, I don't think Jet fans would even go to games. That's how frustrated I think New York Jet fans would be. So let's say Sam Darnold has to learn yet another system in his final year. It makes it so hard to see him succeed as New York Jets also. So he's going to learn another system and still probably have no talent around him. So the Jets, you finally get this quarterback with talent, and you have done as bad a job as possible of surrounding him with talent to develop this young quarterback and get the most out of him. The more I think about it, the more I see the scenario where the Jets actually do take Trevor Lawrence, Sam Darnold goes elsewhere, and he excels. I could really see that happening. He goes to a real organization where they know what they're doing, and they get the most out of Darnold, help him develop, and become the quarterback that we all thought he could be. Whether it's a team like the Patriots, whether it's a team like the Steelers once Big Ben Roethlisberger retires. You never know. He could go to a lot of different places and probably do well because he'll be run by a team that has a good head coach, good offensive line, good system, good culture, just everything around them would be much better than is with the New York Jets. The Jets have gone to a level where there isn't even a word to describe just how bad they are, just how embarrassing they are. When ESPN.com does their power rankings and rank the New York Jets as the worst team in the league and put their biggest weakness as football, that cannot happen. Like, that's not even real. ESPN doesn't do that. You have to be so beyond bad, not just kind of bad, but beyond bad to have that kind of a response nationally from these other places. And that's the way it has been for the Jets. And it has been for such a long time now. It's not like this is a 1 year or 2 year thing. I mean, this has happened forever. Ever since 1969, Jets haven't even made the Super Bowl. Jets have made the playoffs in a bunch of years. I mean, the best they did was 2 AFC championship games with Mark Sanchez. That is like what they hang their hat on for the last 50 years. That can happen. You know what? Such major changes need to be made with this New York Jets team because they have made just mistake after mistake after mistake in the recent years. They started off by signing Adam Gase as the head coach. That was already a mistake because we knew he was not very good at Miami, so that wasn't exactly the smartest move. Then you let Mike McCagnon do the draft, do the free agency, and you get rid of him because Adam Gase and him did not get along, and you really wanted to, have Adam Gase get his general manager in Joe Douglas. So you already let Adam Gase win again. Then you have a really bad season with Adam Gase. Then the next season, which is now this season, you're having another bad season. And while these other franchises, like the Falcons firing Dan Quinn, like the Texans firing Bill O'Brien after their disappointing starts, the Jets say, oh no, we're going to keep Adam Gase and we're going to stand by him despite us being worse than those other teams. So they just they continue to make these mistakes and have given Adam Gase opportunity after opportunity. And it doesn't look like he has warranted it because Sam Darnold is not improving. The Jets offense is worse than when Adam Gase got here. And he doesn't put across a message that he wants to win. You know what? The way the clock management is used, the way it looks like there have been several games where it looks like they just kind of give up, that they're not really trying to get the win or trying to get in the game. And the kind of games that they've lost, like the Thursday night game against the Broncos, that utter embarrassment of a game, the mismanaging of players, like somebody like Mekhi Becton, who was playing really well, that the Jets drafted in the first round. They needed him very badly, gets hurt. So the Jets, they're like, all right, you know what, let's not play Becton. Then the backup tackle gets hurt. Let's put Becton in and have him get hurt again. Then Sam Darnold, he plays, gets hurt. Comes out, comes back in, gets hurt, and now Joe Flacco is starting. So again, we can't even see Darnold develop because he is hurt again. Year after year, he's either hurt or he's sick. So it just makes it so hard for the Jets to go anywhere. And then last offseason, the two best players you have, Jamal Adams and Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson is so important for this team because Sam Darnold is having a receiver he is having a connection with. Robbie Anderson makes Sam Darnold better. He helps him develop. So what do? You be cheap, you let him go, and you sign Brashad Perriman, who has never played with Sam Darnold and has been a disappointment despite being a first-round pick with the Baltimore Ravens many years ago. And what has Brashad Perriman done? He played very little, didn't play well, and now he's hurt. Just as you would have predicted. But Robbie Anderson doing wonderful with Carolina. Jamal Adams, one of the probably the best safety in the league. You have established such a loser culture that Jamal Adams doesn't want to be here anymore, and you get rid of him. So, I mean, are those draft picks going to be good? We don't know, because so far, these draft picks, these late-round picks, whether it's Ashton Davis or Denzel Mims, they have not looked good. So I can't just automatically think that they're going to get these amazing players in return for Jamal Adams, because the thing is, the damage has already been done. And I don't know if or when the Jets will ever be good again, because Christopher Johnson made such a bad decision getting Adam Gase as the head coach. And now you have to get somebody completely different. And a lot of good head coaching candidates have gone to other places. And the real good head coaches, they don't just become available. You know, Mike Tomlin is not magically just going to be available for you. Or John Harbaugh is not going to magically become available for you. Or Bill Belichick or all these other really good coaches, they're staying with their respective teams. And you know what? It's just like, what star player, after seeing what has happened with Jamal, after seeing what's happened with Le'Veon Bell, and the just national embarrassment that the Jets are, that you have ESPN calling your biggest weakness football, what star player would want to come here? Unless they are so blinded by money, no star player wants to come here. You know what I mean? So the other thing that concerns me is that even if you do win no games this year, you completely tank, You get Trevor Lawrence. Do we trust that the Jets are going to surround Trevor Lawrence with the right coach, the right system, the right players? After what just happened with Sam Darnold, I don't see how you could think that's going to happen. So what if they do the same crap to Lawrence that they've done to Darnold and they don't develop him correctly and he does not become a good quarterback and they still don't win games? Like, that's a very real possibility because, I mean, what other examples can you look at that can tell you, oh no, things would definitely be different? Because we're seeing the same stuff. In fact, it's even getting worse. So I don't know how you could see that things are getting better. Like, my dad is a Jets fan and saw them win the Super Bowl in 1969. And it's like, Jet fans deserve better than this. You know what? Because, like, eventually the Jets have to show that they care about their fans. They cannot have their organization become utter embarrassment. Fire Adam Gase. You have to, because you just have to show the fans that it's like, you know what? We do care about you. We do want to see things get better. We want to see changes be made. Because when you don't, and you allow these kind of things to happen and let your organization become a bigger and bigger of an embarrassment, you don't put across the message that you care about the fans. And that is absolutely unacceptable. So, I mean, just so many things wrong with the Jets. I mean, let's not even talk about how bad they were on Sunday. Lose to the Cardinals 30-10. You know what I mean? They're getting blown out of games. Again, they look worse and worse. And what just bothers me, like I said, is the fact that they just allow it. And they're willing to just get worse and worse, and it doesn't look like they care. You have to make changes for this Jets fan base, whether it's, you know what, Christopher Johnson stepping down or selling, kind of the way it looks like the Wilpons are doing with the Mets. I mean, if all of a sudden the Mets become a good organization, the Jets need to follow that blueprint because the fans deserve it. They are your paying customers. This is a business. And you know what? You're not going to be making money with this Jets team because nobody wants to come here. No one wants your merchandise. And nobody's going to want to go to your games if you continue to be this much of an embarrassment. So figure it out and make some changes. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. And until the next one, be safe, be smart, be healthy, be better than the Jets, and have a good one, everyone.